Hey everyone, Matt here from Herbal House, and in this video we are taking a closer look at the 4SEASONS HELIOS 480X. So why would you be in the market for such a grow light? Well, the HELIOS series are there to provide for the larger grow spaces. You're looking to invest into a grow light that's going to exceed what your traditional bulbs have to offer, or you're looking to jump straight into a grow light that's going to meet those 1.2 meter by 1.2 meter flowering spaces, right up to a 1.5 by 1.5 in veg requirements. But it's not just that alone that makes them so great. Let's get into the details that make these panels so darn good. So while the 480X is technically the smallest panel in the Helia series, it is certainly not a small panel by any stretch. Measuring a full 85 by 85 centimeters, you can be assured this panel is going to be right at home in grow spaces from 1.2 meters and above. Now, the design language of the Helios is of course based around the bar style LEDs. That's a good bit of contrast when you compare it against the likes of the Quantum series from 4SEASONS, which is certainly designed for the more compact grow spaces. This bar style is going to allow the larger grow spaces to have a much more uniform and even light distribution, ensuring you're going to get that peak flowering performance right out to the edges. But what really helps define a premium quality grow light? 4SEASONS have stayed true to their nature using the Samsung LM301H series diodes. H is represented by Samsung as the horticulture division diodes, ensuring that you've got a light that is built for purpose to provide a premium quality of spectrum and of course the reliability and longevity to ensure a long-lasting grow light. They've combined 3000K and 5000K color temperatures, effectively when you'd combine a veg and a flower bulb into one. What this means for you guys is you've got a panel that is going to carry you from seed to harvest. Not forgetting that some Osram series diodes are actually sprinkled in there to bolster up the areas of 660 and 730 specific wavelengths to ensure you're going to get a premium quality flowering result. But to ensure that those diodes stay well protected, there is in fact a thin film coating covering the entire PCB. What that means for growers is that this panel can withstand those harsh, humid environments that we come to expect from a grow space. It does also mean that these diodes are extremely easy to clean with simply a damp cloth, giving them a wipe should you get any buildups on the front side of those diodes. So no need to worry about actually bringing out any chemicals. A simple wipe does keep these panels in tip-top condition. Now, with such high quality diodes, it does actually make a difference on this new generation because what they've done is introduced algorithmically staggered setups. Now, what that actually changes is on the heatsinks themselves, is the diodes are now staggered closer together, further out on the edges. So now you'll find your PPFD maps and the intensity overall is more evenly distributed from corner to corner of the grow space. What that actually translates to is a premium flowering result that isn't just directly beneath the panel. It will extend further out across the grow space. This is what really separates the Helios range from others in the same segment. Now, an easily overlooked performance change on this panel that is something people probably won't notice is the way they've actually staggered the LED bars. Commonly, there's an even gap between bars on LED grow lights such as this, but in this case, they've actually brought the bars closer together on the outer edges. Same as the diodes, bringing them closer together on those edges is going to improve the light distribution across that grow space while reducing hotspots. So a really nice addition to see on the latest Helios series. Of course, with a panel this large and the full Helios series, assembly is required. Not that it's very difficult. 4SEASONS have done a wonderful job using simple push connectors and thumb screws to put these panels together. It takes less than a minute once you've got the panel out of its protective packaging. Of course, it does mean that if you ever needed to pull the panel down and put it away for storage, it is incredibly easy to do so. Now, an often overlooked component when it comes to an LED grow light is the driver. 4SEASONS has put a huge amount of effort and emphasis on designing a compact and efficient driver. Now, when we actually take a closer look at this driver, you'll actually notice a full set of cooling fins surrounding the panel. That's really nice to see because being a passive cooled panel, which means there's no fans there to cool it down, it's great to see that they've used extra aluminium to ensure this component is going to be running as cool as possible. Cooler running component is certainly more efficient and more reliable. Now, just as important as the driver itself is what connects it to the LED panel. It's not simply just an interlinking cable. They're using high quality copper conductors on the inside of this silicon grade cable with waterproof connectors. So it means it's not only going to have a really high efficiency in terms of electrical transfer, but it's also going to be able to withstand those conditions and handle those high humidity climates. Last but certainly not least is the dimmer module fitted to the front side of the driver. This is going to give you the ability to adjust the overall output from your grow light in steps, starting from 15%, ramping right up to 100%, because with an LED this powerful, running at 100% is not suitable for all stages of growth. Typically with early stage seedlings, you're going to be starting around that 15% and gradually working your way up as the plant develops. Just next to that dimmer though is two RJ ports. Now these are commercially fitted for commercial features. Typically not seen in domestic environments, but they certainly can be utilised. With the RJ ports, you're able to connect to a master controller and offer daisy chain functionality, which is definitely more of a commercial feature, but we'll give you a little more insight into that soon. What we're going to do now is we're just going to take the LED grow light and we're going to set it up in our grow tent and give you guys a real world application. Alrighty, so we've got the Helia set up here in our AC Infinity 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 meter tall tent, and as you can see, it fits like an absolute glove. For a light like this in a tent this size, you can expect some very high levels of intensity right out to those corners. Perfect for those high demand plants that are really craving it. But I really wanted to touch on just how easy it is to set this light up. They include everything you need, which is a full set of ratchet hangers, one for each corner, so you can adjust this light on the go, whether it's lifting it or lowering it. It is an absolute breeze to set up. But what I want to do is actually get into the nitty-gritty details of this light. We've got some testing equipment, so let's take a look at what it has to offer. Alrighty, so we're down here at the canopy height now, and a good question we get all the time is how high should I have my grow light from the plants? Now, it's an excellent question and it's very situational. So we're going to have some par maps to give you guys an indication of the intensity you're seeing, but we have a rule of thumb to get you up and running, which is no closer than 45 centimeters. Anywhere from about 45 to 65 centimeters is the sweet spot we've found. Quarter power on the dimmer is good for your seedlings, early growth and things like that. Dialing it up to about half power for long day veg growth, scaling right up to 100% for your short day flowering, because you want to ensure you're getting that intensity across the grow space. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break out our Spectroradiometer here, which is going to give us a good bit of insight into the wavelengths we're seeing from this panel. So I'm just going to take a quick sample of light and break that down for you guys. Okay, so we've just taken a sample of the light, and again, it's only at 15%, but that will not have any influence on what we're looking at here. Now, just want to give you guys a breakdown on this. So if we take a look, there's a very high peak in the blue spectrum. Now, what that's going to mean for your plants is they're going to stay nice and stocky. You're not going to get a leggy, stretchy plant growth, which is very desirable, especially in a grow space like a grow tent. You want everything to stay nice and compact. Now, when we move through it, we've obviously got the full spectrum as we move towards the red right across. And you'll see there's a very high peak right in the 660 range and the 730 range. Now you can thank the Osram diodes there. They are there to help bolster those numbers and ensure we are going to get an optimum flowering performance and result, because we want to ensure that we've still got plenty of red range to offset the blue range there. So really nice to see we've got a full encompassing full spectrum light and highlighted in certain areas to affect the key plant growth for the better. Really nice to see. Now, actual intensity measurements, what we're going to do is we're going to take our Apogee far par meter. Now, by par, it is photosynthetic active radiation, which is what the plants see, not a lux, not a brightness measurement, actual photosynthetic active radiation. And it is a far sensor, so it's going to measure the encompassing full spectrum right out into the far red range. So a very good instrument for this kind of testing. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys an overlay to show you the different par maps that we have taken with this instrument and give you a little more insight into what you can expect, at least within the grow space of a 1.2 by 1.2, and just how well-reaching this light is. So now that we've given you a bit more insight into the par maps this LED produces, how you adjust the light is very important. Now I did mention earlier you can lift and lower the light to adjust the coverage and of course the intensity, but the most preferred way is to simply adjust the dimmer. You can do that via the dimmer on the front, of course through an analog method, but those two RJ ports are going to allow you to connect to something like this, a master controller. So using the included cable that comes with your light, it will allow you to connect this controller directly to the LED. It will negate the need for a timer to turn your light on and off, and you will simply use this to run your light scheduling, adjust your dimmer intensity, and daisy chain multiple lights. Now, depending on the master controller you use, this particular one has some more commercial orientated features. These will integrate with the likes of AC Infinity controllers through something like a Type A adapter. So really nice to know that even on a domestic level, you can have this level of features. Now, what we're going to do is just give you a little bit of insight into connecting this controller and show you what it looks like. Integrating your grow light with the master controller is really straightforward. Simply rotating the dimmer beyond 100% to the EXT setting, it is now going to reference external control. From there, you can plug from the input port of your grow light directly to the master controller. This will allow the master controller to communicate with the LED, whether it's adjusting brightness or turning the light on and off. Just next to the input port, you will see the output port. This is where we're going to connect multiple LEDs or daisy chain them along. So what that means is you can have multiple grow lights simply linked together through these ports and one master controller controlling them all. A really nice level of functionality to have even in a domestic environment. It certainly does make light work of those larger grow spaces. All right, so if you're in the market for that high power grow light for those larger grow spaces, the HELIOS 480X should certainly be at the top of your list. Knowing that this light is using industry leading components backed with a 5-year Herbal House and 4 Seasons warranty, you can be assured this grow light is going to be providing for many years to come. We simply love how these lights are performing. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, please get in touch with us here at Herbal House. Thanks for watching.